Right now, there is a ton of liquidity piling up above us on Bitcoin. And yes, this liquidity is going to be grabbed inevitably. And on today's update video, I am going to exactly talk about this bounce on Bitcoin. What is the likeliest next move for Bitcoin? And how am I currently preparing myself to take a very big trade on Bitcoin on that next potential bounce towards the upside? So this and so much more will be getting discussed on today's update video. I will be talking also about Ethereum, about this major bounce from this very critical zone of resistance that now is flipping into support. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap up that like button back above 1,000 likes. It will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in today's update video. So currently, yes, we can see that Bitcoin actually is starting to create quite a strong bounce back towards the upside. Currently, it is once again Friday. And yes, during weekends, we usually tend to not see a lot of price action except for the Sundays, because historically, for the last 9 weekends on a Sunday, we have seen a pump, then create a CME gap, and then days later fill it up here. So ultimately, I am not expecting all too much volatility on Fridays and especially during the weekend. But ultimately, if we're just looking at Bitcoin right now here, there's just a clear story emerging. And in my opinion, we should be looking at this very important big chart right here, right? This chart shows us where the most important levels of previous resistance and of course now support are laying. And that is obviously that 84,000 to about 86,000 US dollar level. That was the zone of previous major resistance for Bitcoin. And whenever we broke above it, we saw the big run towards the upside. That is the exact level we're currently bouncing from. And like I discussed in many videos before, I currently have my trading strategy already completely set up here. And that is that I want to be going in towards a long position on Bitcoin only in the case we're going to be obviously having that breakdown towards this zone right here, the 71K here. Because if we're going to be hitting that level, in my opinion, the risk to reward is going to be most certainly there to open up a long trade. I also said in my previous videos that I think, yes, Bitcoin is most likely going to be bouncing towards the top side of the region to about $106,000, but I was not willing to open up a long trade right here because in my opinion, it was still a little bit too risky. But what I clearly said in my previous videos, that I want to be scaling in towards short positions on Bitcoin whenever we are going to be reaching this top side right here. And then such a short position could have massive downside, which is of course a huge possibility to have a very good trade with an extreme good risk to reward scenario. And that is exactly my strategy right now here. So all I've got to do is basically wait in this market here. Either for Bitcoin to, of course, break below the support, then I'm going to be entering the long on the lower side, or either for Bitcoin to retest the top side of resistance to go in towards that short position. And obviously, I will be taking these trades on VX, and I will keep you guys up to date in real time in the VIP Telegram group here, so make sure to join it. And yes, it's not only me in that group, there are also 5 other professional traders that are sharing trading setups on a daily basis. So make sure to join the VIP Telegram group in the link description of today's video. And truly, I will be, of course, starting to enter these trades here whenever I am going to see Bitcoin come close towards my orders. So for now on, I'm still waiting with setting my orders. But of course, whenever this is going to be happening, I will be most likely just post also an emergency video here on my YouTube channel to share you my exact entries and my exact strategy, which by then I will be sharing my exact strategy. And yes, right now also, I do want to be mentioning, if you are interested in trading on VX, there is right now an insane bonus running where you can claim 50% future bonus, which is valid only on your first deposit. And also on top of that, you'll be getting a 25% fee rebate. And on top of that, you will be getting a 25% fee rebate. So these deposit bonuses are all available by signing up an account using that first link in today's video description. So make sure to check out VX also in that first link in today's video description. So ultimately, this is the plan for me right now here. All I've got to do is just be very patient. And yes, like I discussed on the intro of today's video, we are seeing a big liquidity wall being built up above us. And truly, if I'm zooming out here, there's just a ton of liquidity laying for Bitcoin only on the top side. And ultimately, this liquidity is going to be grabbed here. I do think Bitcoin is going to be quite inevitably run up towards $100,000 in the upcoming days here. Of course, not during the weekend, but during the start of next week, that could be most likely a very big possibility for Bitcoin to ultimately go towards. And if we're going to be getting a bump on the weekend and create the CME gap, it's ultimately going to be fueling this scenario even more, that we are going to be getting this lower high structure on Bitcoin. And the reason why I, of course, want to be opening up a short position on Bitcoin is because if I'm looking at the historical Bitcoin 4-year cycle, we are technically already at the end stage of the cycle. We've already been past the 4-year cycle on Bitcoin and where the top should be getting created. And if I'm looking back at many of the previous cycles and many of the previous structures, we usually tend to create that lower high structure. And usually it's around that 200-day moving average, which is currently trading around $108,000 to about $109,000. And if I'm zooming back here, this was exactly the level that got retested in 2022. And this marked, of course, the beginning of the big, brutal bear market on Bitcoin. Also in 2018, we saw multiple retests of this level right here. So I am for sure taking this level very seriously. But there's one thing we definitely right now need here, and that is to be very patient. So I am going to just, of course, continue to make these daily videos, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing. But for me, it's my third bear market already. And even though it's not a popular opinion to say that we're right now in a bear market, most of the signals are right now just pointing towards the fact that we are in a bear market. So that is why I will continue to trade the market like a bear market. And especially if we're going to get the opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin positions, short positions around the lower high, it is going to be a very great opportunity. So yeah, I'm going to keep you guys up to date exactly what I will be doing. And I'm going to give you guys updates along the way here. Then for Ethereum, it had, of course, also a massive free fall. Currently, it is, of course, entering that very important level of previous resistance that now flipped into support. Ultimately, we're still trading in this big downtrend. I've set up multiple charts on ETH here. And if you're setting up a Fibonacci for Ethereum on the range low to the exact range high, you can just clearly see that we've bounced from the golden pocket entry. And honestly, the next big level of resistance is going to be the $3,600 level, which was, of course, previously around major support for ETH here. So you saw it also over here. We bounced from this level multiple times here. But here we got rejected from it. So it's going to be making a lot of sense that if we're going to come back towards this level, it is for sure going to be acting once again as big resistance on Ethereum. So that is, of course, going to be the strategy with ETH. Of course, I will update you along the way here. I'm going to keep you guys up to date. But ETH compared to Bitcoin chart is ultimately, in my opinion, looking bullish. But yeah, it depends really where Bitcoin is going to go towards, right? If Bitcoin remains to be weak, Ethereum is ultimately going to be following the weak trajectory of Bitcoin. So that was it for me in today's update video. I'm expecting a bounce here. And of course, I exactly explained to you how I'm going to be taking these trades here. All I've got to do right now is just be a little bit more patient. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, join the VP Telegram group here, and claim that insane bonus on WeX if you're interested in trading. Peace out. Goodbye.